it's been about a year since you fought, right? You were coming off a loss to Diego Lopes. And
Yes.
then I believe you had another fight scheduled early this year. That one fell through. So now um last weekend you fought Jonathan Pierce. Dominant win. But I just want to ask you previously, with the year layoff and stuff, how were you feeling about that?
So I feel like it was definitely in the back of my head, like, wow, man, I'm probably gonna have ring rust, this, and that. But I started working with a sports psychologist back in March, and I seen a difference almost immediately from a mental aspect. And I got to be honest with you, you can look at all my walkouts, you can look at all the times I've been in the cage for the fight introductions, and like even in my face, I kind of looked way different this time, way more relaxed, way more present. And honestly, it's the most calm I felt in the cage in my whole career.
Oh wow, okay. Yeah, I noticed too when Jonathan came up to you, like face to face in the beginning. When they pan back to you, you're just like stretching out your arms and stuff like that. You seemed a little bit relaxed when he was like right there in your face.
For sure, man. As soon as his walkout song came on, it kind of got me hyped up. He came out to ACDC Dynamite, kind of TNT, kind of got me a little hyped up. But as he was like approaching me in the cage and bouncing, I was just trying to stay calm and not feed into the mind games.
Yeah. So with the sports psychologist, what made you kind of seek that out in the first place? Did it have to do with the previous fight with Diego or something like that, or maybe even like before that?
I just felt like the last couple fights, I actually felt like two different people, with the whole fight and leading up to the fight, man. And I always knew that I had potential, but I feel like this obviously would be my best friend or worst enemy. And I'm like, I got to be able to control this in order to perform out there because I feel like once you get to this level and higher, it's not so much who's better, it's who can show up at the right moment and do the right things. And, I started with the sports psychologist. I was like, let me give this a try. And dude, after the first session, I felt a difference. And just in my life in general, because right around that time in March, right around when I was supposed to fight Nate the Train, I actually had to get a surgery. I had a meniscus tear and it got really bad. And I ended up having to get some of it snipped out. But dude, the knee feels so good right now. It felt great in the fight. But healing from that, getting back into training, and the psychological aspect of things, I feel like really progressed, in a good way.
Yeah. So it's also having to do with like a surgery and just all these things you're probably dealing with, right? That kind of like got you to seek the therapy in a way to just get your mind right.
Yes, and I wanted to be able to, fix this problem I had with this, and be able to turn on and be consistent with my fights. Where I feel like this one, and when I fought Lucas Almeida, I felt so like clear, so confident, ready to go. Where when I went against Diego and Damon Jackson, I kind of felt mentally defeated
Going into it or
beforehand.
something.
Yes,
Okay. That's actually a good I'm glad you shared that because what I think, right, when you bring up the mental side is that it's so easy with all the pressure going into the fight, it's so easy to kind of pack it in, right? Because you want to get out of there, you're dealing with a lot while you're in there. So I totally can relate. Even like you can kind of like see it with people, for example, right? If you're like in the gym or something like that, people will stop doing push-ups or something like that just because of their mind, I feel like, before their body's actually done. And so that's what I was guessing. Like when you said you wanted to see a psychologist, I was thinking like when you're in there, maybe you were kind of like wanting to almost get out of there. But your side of it is like before you even got in there, you were like feeling all the pressure to the point where like you went in not your full self.
exactly, man. And I had like some mishaps in camps leading up to those fights that kind of let get the best of me. And obviously, if you're not mentally where you need to be, you're not going to perform how you want to perform.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. And it's so much about the mind. You see like these guys in MMA. I think MMA is different than boxing in this sense because the mind can even get a guy who's got less skills the victory just because
Dude,
it's
you
like
see it
so
all the time.
gritty. You see it all the time.
Yeah, man, there's a lot of fighters out there where I feel like their skills are not the best, They make mistakes, but the willpower and just they're so mentally strong that they can get the job done.
Yeah, one guy that comes to mind off the bat is a Tony Ferguson. As he got older, he wasn't able to like will things into existence, but now you can kind of see like, oh shoot, he wasn't so technically sound back in the day. He just willed all these victories.
Dude, he used to put on such a pace, man. They called him the boogeyman for a reason. You
El
know,
Cucu, yeah.
I I loved watching. Which fight did I really like of his? Oh, when he fought Barbosa,
That's
that
the
was
one
a
I was thinking about too.
crazy fight, dude.
Yeah,
Crazy.
because he took it from Barboza and then he ended up submitting him. But he was so bloody in that one, it was crazy.
It was almost like he's like, "Oh, you can hit me. I don't care." And I'll just keep coming forward, throwing everything at the kitchen sink at you. And that's the kind of fighter he is, man.